What's up, everybody? Daniel's son here. Today I want to talk about a fragrance that was given to me by a really good friend of mine, and a shout out. His name is James Underwood. He is actually a YouTube reviewer himself, and he's a good friend of mine on Facebook also. You should check him out. Outlaw Frags is his YouTube channel. But anyway, a while back he sent me a box of all kinds of little goodies, and this was one of the ones that was in here. And yeah, I want to tell you all about this, but let me give you some basic information first. Alfred Dunhill, London. This is called Desire. This is an eau de toilette. Dunhill, London is a British designer house. They make men's accessories and fragrances and all different kinds of stuff. This particular fragrance, Desire, come out in 2000. The perfumer is Michael Almeric. Notes. Top notes are apple, orange blossom, lime, sweet bergamot, lemon. Heart notes are rose, patchouli, teakwood. Base notes are vanilla, musk, and labdanum. Now, let me spray this on, and I want to tell you a little bit about Dunhill, London. I actually went and looked at them, did a little research on them, and they've actually been around for quite a while. I knew they'd been around for a while, but I had no idea that they'd been around for as long as they have. Their first fragrance come out in 1934. It was called Dunhill for Men, and they actually still sell that. I've seen it on a couple of discount sites like Fragrantica and Fragrance X. I'm sure that it's been reformulated probably a couple of times, because I noticed that the 1934 had oak moss in it, and oak moss is pretty much illegal now. Because of skin reactions that people have, and so I'm sure it's been reformulated at least a couple of times, and probably some synthetics have been added into it. But I'm actually thinking about getting the Dunhill for Men. It's getting some pretty good ratings on Fragrantica, but they have 26 fragrances in their lineup, all for men, 25 for men, but there is one for women. I think that one was Desire for Women, I believe. But I think a review, I can't remember if it was my last review or not, but I was talking about that I've been wanting to do a series on perfume houses and a series on the perfumers themselves, sort of like a background and history on both of them. And I'm actually, after I was doing a little bit of research earlier today, I was actually thinking about doing a little video on Dunhill, London, because they're a pretty interesting house or company. Now, there is a couple of reviews that some reviewers that's done on YouTube, and the majority of people says that this is supposed to represent a flask, which I can actually see that, but a lot of people might not know this. Dunhill, London, before they started making perfumes, I think they used to make lighters. They used to make and design lighters. And if anybody's old enough out there to remember what Zippo lighters are, the little metal square lighters that you used to flip the top on, I was wondering to myself, I wonder if that has anything to do with maybe the design of this. I don't know. It's just a random thought that popped into my head. I don't know if that's true. It's just a thought. But let me tell you what this smells like. Sweet, fruity, a little bit of citrusy. It is a little bit, as far as the sweetness, it is a little bit candy sweet, but it's not like a overly candy sweet. It has a little bit of that in it, but it's actually pretty pleasant to me. Now I can't this is one of those fragrances where the notes sort of like are sort of bundled together and it's hard to pick out individual notes. But I do believe I detect apple. But other than that, it's more just like fruit and citrus. I might be able to pick out a little bit of that lime maybe, but it's mainly sweet, a little bit candy sweet, very fruity, a little bit citrusy. And even though the teakwood is in the heart notes, I can detect teakwood in the very opening. And teakwood to me is an unusual note. It's not really that much of a woody note to me. It's not anything like cedarwood or sandalwood. And I tried to think of another smell that I could compare teakwood to, and I can't do it. It's a smell, very unique smell. I just can't compare it to anything, but it is a very pleasant smell. It might have like a woody aspect to it, but it's nothing like a woody like cedarwood or anything like that. It's a scent that's all on its own. It's hard to compare it to anything else, but it is actually really pleasant. It adds a little nice little, it complements all these other notes in the opening to me. Now, as far as the rose and the patchouli, I don't really get that much of a real rose. I do get floral, but that's all I get. I can't tell you that I smell rose. It's just a floral. Now, it stays like this for quite a while, probably about an hour and a half. And when it gets to the mid, now to me, this is what the mid is. The mid to me is all that sweet, fruity, a little bit citrusy, a little bit floral. It starts fading a little bit, and then that patchouli and that vanilla and that musk and that labdanum sort of like take over. And that's all what the mid is to me. There's not a lot going on except for the transition. You know, the opening fades out and then here comes the dry down. And I actually like the dry down. I love the opening. It is very youthful. I've heard a lot of people say this is for a younger person, which I can see that, but I'm 55 years old. And even though this is marketed and a lot of people say this is for younger people, I understand that, but I'm 55 and I like it. So I think it just depends on the person themselves if they like a certain fragrance or not. But anyway, the dry down, I like the dry down actually a lot better because in the dry down you get that a little bit of patchouli. I don't get much patchouli, but I get a lot of smooth, creamy vanilla and a clean musk. Nothing animalic at all about this, and I get some labdanum. It's very smooth, it's very creamy. I pick up on that vanilla and a little bit of musk, but I also get actually a lot of labdanum in the dry down, which to me, this labdanum could give, I think, different smells. It depends on what fragrance it's in and how it's blended. To me, I smell a nice amber with maybe a little bit of leather in it. But it's a really, really nice, dry down, especially with that amber vibe to it with the vanilla and the musk. But a big change from the opening. In the dry down, that playfulness, that youthfulness goes away and it is replaced. It's nothing masculine or real mature, but it just loses a lot of that playfulness and that, I guess, young adult smell and turns a little bit more serious, I guess. But overall, man, I really like this. Yeah, I like it. Now, I have been wearing this in the Desire Blue, and they share the same DNA to me. But I think I actually might like the Desire Red a little bit more than the blue. The blue is a little bit more candy sweet and a little bit more fruity, and it stays that way for a little bit longer throughout the life of the fragrance. So I actually recommend this. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 100 or 5 years old. If this sounds good to you, maybe you should like check this out. As y'all know, I'm all over the place with my reviews. I've reviewed anywhere from $5 fragrances to right around almost $500 niche fragrances. So I'm all over the place, and I thought it was time to do an inexpensive fragrance that I thought was good. So I might do another inexpensive one here next. But yeah, I do recommend this. This is one of those fragrances where if you can't decide what to wear, this is one of the fragrances, like just pick it up and spray it, because I think a lot of people will like this. I don't think you can offend anybody wearing this. As a matter of fact, I went to Fragrantica looking to see what people had to say about this, and there's actually a lot of people that really, really like this. And I've seen a lot of comments saying that the women like this fragrance on men. I don't know because I haven't worn it to work, but a lot of people say that women are attracted to guys who wear this. So I might have to experiment on that here pretty soon. But anyway, yeah, I do recommend this. The price point on this is extremely good. I'll put the link in the description on where you can get this. A 1 ounce on Fragrance Net is going for $12. 3.4 ounce is going for $25. No, $23 as of this post. And a 5 ounce, which would last me like several years, a 5 ounce is going for $28.97 as of this post. So yeah, I do recommend it. If this sounds good to you, I think you should check it out. Yeah, man, I like it. I really do. And I hope y'all got something from this, and I will be back probably in a couple of days to do maybe another inexpensive. I don't like to say cheapies, because when people hear cheapies, I think a lot of people will automatically think low quality, cheap, which is not the case. I don't think that way, but I like to say inexpensive. So maybe I'll do another inexpensive fragrance, and who knows, I haven't decided yet. But anyway, tell me what your fragrance of the day is. I just sprayed this on. It's like 3 p.m. This will probably fade by 10 o'clock tonight, which will give me an opportunity to wear a nighttime beddy time fragrance. And I've already picked it out. Heritage by Guerlain. This is the Eau de Toilette. So let me know what fragrance you are wearing right now. And tell me also if anybody has this out there and what you think of it. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. And I'll be back. All right, love you guys. Bye.